J.D. Vance is now one of Ohio's 2 U.S. senators. Vance beat Congressman Tim Ryan in a relatively close race, 53 to 47%. Vance will be filling the seat of Rob Portman, who is retiring, and he again is going to join Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown in representing the Buckeye State. 10 TV was there as Vance claimed victory.
One of the songs we heard throughout the night was taking care of business, and that's exactly what the Republicans did here in our state, with most of the major statewide races going to the GOP. And of course, that included now projected Senator-elect J.D. Vance. He took the stage right around 11:30 to give his victory speech, roughly 4 hours after the polls closed. It was a tight race between him and Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan all the way up until the final moments. But in the end, Vance came out on top, and he thanked all of the voters of Ohio.
Because of all of you, we won a great victory. But I want to say everything to whether you voted for me or not, if you're watching on TV, whether you voted for me or not, the thing that I promise to do is go to the United States Senate and fight every single day for the people of Ohio. Thanks to you, we get an opportunity to do just that.
Now, J.D. Vance did take the time to thank his opponent, Tim Ryan, saying that Ryan made a gracious concession call to him, and he said that Tim Ryan is a guy who loves Ohio. Reporting in Columbus, Brittany Bailey, 10 TV News.
And former President Trump spoke briefly about Vance right before the election was called.
In Ohio, J.D. Vance is now leading 52-47. And we had an incredible rally last night in Ohio.
You'll recall the former president was in the Dayton area Monday night. He's expected to announce another run for the White House next week. Congressman Tim Ryan was in Boardman as the results came in. That's in Northeast Ohio. 10 TV's Brian Somerville was also there as Ryan thanked his supporters.
Well, after 2 years on the campaign trail, this is certainly not the way Congressman Tim Ryan wanted to end things. So just after 11 o'clock, the sound system started playing Lean on Me by Bill Withers, giving the room the feeling that Ryan had lost. And then around 11:20, Ryan took the stage, surrounded by his family, his team, saying he had called J.D. Vance to congratulate him and that he will continue to fight for the working class of Ohioans. Ryan was also quick to say that this vote was the will of the people.
I have the privilege to concede this race to J.D. Vance because the way this country operates is that when you lose an election, you concede. And you respect the will of the people, right? We can't have a system where if you win, it's a legitimate election, and if you lose, someone stole it. That is not how we can move forward in the United States.
Congressman Ryan left the stage to Frank Sinatra's My Way after he gave the quote saying that the United States and Ohio is filled with ordinary people doing extraordinary things, all for the better of the country. In Boardman, Brian Somerville, 10 TV News.
Brian, thanks. When it comes to the control of Congress, all eyes are on 5 states right now: Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Wisconsin, and Nevada. All were considered toss-up states with close Senate rates. We know the results of Pennsylvania. We will get to that in just a bit. But here's an interactive map right now on 10tv.com where you could actually click to see how close some of these races are. So we talked about Pennsylvania and Georgia. We'll get into that in a moment, too. But let's just look at Nevada, how close that is. It is 49.9% to 47.2% Republican over Democrat. And in Wisconsin, it's 50.6% Republican over 49.4% Democrat. Now, I just want to show you the control of Congress right now in the Senate. It says 48-47, although we are really talking about another seat going to the Republican side, too. So we're calling this 48 right now, too. So very close. It is a dead heat. Really coming down to those Senate seats. We're going to be talking about in-depth coverage of the race down in Georgia and how tight that is really coming up in just a bit. Angela?
Clay, thank you. Now, the Ohio governor race was one of the first to get called for the night. Governor Mike DeWine secured 4 more years, beating Nan Whaley 63 to 37%. Here's what Governor DeWine had to say during his victory speech.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to lead you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that work. God bless Ohio. Thank you all very much.
Now, former Dayton Mayor Nan Whaley conceded her run for governor with an emotional speech.
I still believe that our citizens deserve better than what they're getting, and I believe in the people of this state to get us there.
Whaley also indicated she's not quite done yet, so we will see. But coming up at 6:30, we'll hear more from Governor DeWine about what he plans to do for the next 4 years. Tracy?
Ohioans voted to pass 2 major issues in the state. Tino Ramos continues our team coverage. Tino.
Yeah, that's right, Tracy. We're talking about amendments to the Ohio Constitution, and no doubt about it, the voters last night here in Ohio had no problem approving this. And this is going to affect you in a number of ways, including the way the courts operate, including the ones right here behind me across Ohio. Now, in your ballot, it was called Issue 1 and Issue 2 that you saw on there. Matter of fact, these both issues, they passed overwhelmingly with over 70% of the voters giving the yes nod. Now, for Issue 2, this means only U.S. citizens who are at least 18 years old and have been a legal resident and registered voter for at least 30 days can vote in Ohio elections. Now, as for Issue 1, Ohio courts now have to consider public safety when setting bail for alleged criminals. This includes factors like the seriousness of the offense and the person's criminal record. We did speak with Ohio's governor, who is the former attorney general, last night, who told us Issue 1 is an important step for safety.
It just fixes a problem that was there. Safety of the community is important. You know, we got to protect people. And if you let out a murderer, or if someone's charged with murder and you've had somebody testify, I'm scared to death of this guy, and you still let him out with a low bond or no bond, you know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
As for both amendments, they will take effect immediately. Tino Ramos, 10 TV News.